who she was through her childhood stories. And I want to share a few today. Not all of them. She lived to be 100. So, don't worry. I knew she was raised on a farm, an only child living with an extended family in Gallatin, Tennessee. I didn't realize what a blazer and adventurer she was when she embarked on her life's journey as the first person in her extended family of 15 to attend and graduate from college in the University of Tennessee. I also learned that her roots ran deeper than I ever knew. On her mother's side of the family, the Douglas side with two S's, not one, her family traces back to Scotland and the ancient Douglas clan, a lineage that crossed an ocean, helped found a nation, and put roots on a lane in Gallatin, Tennessee, that still carries the name Douglas Lane. And so it was on her father's side. It went back to the early 1700s. She came from people who were on the move and were adventurers as well. When she was 4 years old, she traveled to Florida with her mother by train to visit her dad, who was working there before the Great Depression. She was so excited to see a world beyond Gallatin that she told herself and made a promise on that train ride she would one day leave Gallatin. And in 1944, she enrolled at the University of Tennessee at a time when fewer than 4% of American women had a 4-year degree. She said her dad would tell her, "Betty, you just sold another cow to pay for your next semester." And that was where she met my dad, and they had 3 daughters together. She also loved to sew, and she could make anything. She sewed a lot of our clothes when we were children, and in the 1960s, she learned about the importance of what to eat for your overall health from Adele Davis, a pioneer of natural foods. No sugar, no chemicals, no chocolate, no alcohol, vitamins every single day. I'm going to take a few years off of my life, just a few, but I've adhered to most of it, right? She baked her own bread and organic flour and grains long before they were easy to find. She said she used to go to the hippie stores. And she passed that legacy of natural living and good health to her family. I believe that's why she almost made it to 100. And for all practical purposes, she did. She died February 19th, so she was 1 month, March 24th. Her only medication was a thyroid pill. Her adventure with my dad and sisters carried her to Ohio, Italy, Iowa, and Florida, and more. And it was here in Michigan where her final chapter unfolded. At 66, my sister encouraged Mom to move closer to the family because she lived in Clarksville, Tennessee, and she did. It was here that she met Don Campbell at the OPC Social and Activity Center. I got to get that right. No longer the older person center. People from this area know. And before long, they were married and settled in Elkin Township. Together, they built something extraordinary on 16 acres along the Paint Creek Trail, a place they called the Promised Land, and it truly was. They opened their home to people of faith seeking stillness and renewal, and to those weathering hard times who needed a helping hand. Clara's family and ours gathered there for celebratory dinners and walks along the trail that followed. My mother's love of God led her to start Bible study groups wherever she landed or lived. The Promised Land was no different. She had one there that many people told me was deeply meaningful to them. In her final years, she was in assisted living. My sister Susie gave us all an extraordinary gift on Mother's Day about 3 or 4 years ago. My sister had unearthed the diary our grandma had written in 1919, a year and a half of daily life. The year women got the right to vote. And the Spanish flu was an epidemic. And my grandma had the Spanish flu. The doctor had asked her to write what she did every day to see if there was any residual effects in the Spanish flu. So she did. So every Sunday, Susie would read from it to the family members on Zoom call. We called it Aunt Susie's Story Time. It brought a family that had drifted apart back together, and it gave Mom something precious, the chance to go back. She would light up talking about the names of that world. Uncle Bud, Clara Sue, Ethel Spitz, Betty Moot, Puthorn, the Love family, Elizabeth Doubleday, and more. People she had carried inside her for decades, suddenly live again in the room. It was a gift to all of us, but especially to her. The last years weren't easy. She lost more of her mobility, and her vision dimmed. but she never complained, not once. She was a very private person. She carried a wall of iron to the end of her life. And yet, in the end, something softened in her, and she became grateful, openly warm. And every visitor, every Zoom call, every bit of attention, she would say to anyone that would listen, I love my family. And I am so lucky to have them with me here at the end of my life. In the end, she discovered what she wanted us all to know, that it's very simple. All you need is love. I asked her what she wanted on her cemetery marker. Not everyone knew she had a very dry sense of humor. But she said, without missing a beat, put she was a crazy lady. And I told her, maybe you should try something different. And she thought about it, and she landed on this. Put that I was loyal. She was. She never gave up, not on her faith, not on her family, not on the people she loved. Loyal to the end. And you rest in peace.